Okay, Perek Memvav. The point of the video is not to be for posterity. But if someone wants to join, no. Sometimes people join on the spot. Yeah, okay, so sometimes people join. So let's take a look. Perek Memvav. So when they were learning the Perek Memvav on the radio, Rabbi Weinberg wrote a letter asking the Rebbe a question. Why the Alter Rebbe took a break in Perek Memhei to speak about Tiferes. In other words, he started with Yira, Mem Aleph, Mem Beis, Mem Gimel, the beginning, and then in Mem Gimel he switched to Ava, and then he went to Rachamim. Mem Hey was about Rachamim. So the Rebbe explained that in the Korev Ma'id, this is a new level, because it doesn't really require meditation. It requires paying attention. And the Rebbe, one of the ways the Rebbe defines the difference between meditation and paying attention is that you can't think two thoughts at once, so you have to decide what you're going to think about. That's simas leiv, that's paying attention.
Yeah, I thought only tzaddikim have multiple thoughts at the same time.
Yeah, okay. So Perek Memvav, we go back to Avos Hashem. Perek Memvav is the beginning of a special package. Memvav, Mem Zayin, Mem Ches, Mem Tes, 4 Prakim Tanya. And here we start with we'll get to the marshal soon. So V'yesh derech yosher. There's a straight path. Some say that the idea of yosher means that it's even from the perspective of nefesh hasichlis, someone who hasn't sinned, like a straight shooter, a person who isn't, they're not corrupt, an honest person, a straight person without elikus and the nefesh elikis could also come to this realization, to this avos Hashem. So v'yesh derech yosher lifnei ish. That's shava l'chol nefesh. That applies for everyone. And this is the other point that the Rebbe makes. That in the previous prokim, a person that's at a lowly level, we say, oh, really, this ava is for a regular person. But also a lowly person can experience it. We could include even someone in a lower level. Yeah. But here the Rebbe says that a person at a lower level, there's no distinction. It's shava l'chol nefesh. It's equally for every person. So that's another reason why there's this break that the Alter Rebbe. It's extremely close, because also intellectually, it doesn't require a deep understanding of a profound idea. We're not learning about Gadlus Hashem and other ideas. And it's also a natural feeling. It's which the Alter Rebbe will discuss soon. So l'eirir u'lahoyer, to awaken and to give light, to eir ha'ava hatekua soteres b'libay, that the avos Hashem that we all have hidden in our heart should be illuminated. And he said, what does it mean that it should be illuminated? Not just to awaken it, but lias me'ira b'toikef eira, it should be in full force, bright, shining, ke'eish bayara. B'izgalus libay u'moichei. So here too, many of the meditations that the Alter Rebbe said before, so for a Beinani, he said, it's going to be al kol panim in the moyach. It'll be a thought, but to be nis'ayr believe, that's not so simple. To have that the heart should truly experience love for Hashem as a feeling. It's not so simple. It's not so simple. I'm just thinking.
I think maybe it's one size doesn't fit all. So some people have, some people.
Well, let's see what. It's not so complicated. Someone's trying to call me here, and I don't want to stop the... So, let's continue. Ke'esh be'ara, bizgalas libei u'moichei. Right? Also in his mind. Limser nafshe la'Hashem. To literally dedicate dedicate his life. V'gufe u'ma'idei, to dedicate his body and all his money. B'chol leiv u'v'chol nefesh u'v'chol ma'id, with all his might. Incredible lashonos of the Alter Rebbe. So, 1 second, I'm sorry. Incredible lashonos of the Alter Rebbe. Me'umka deliba be'emes la'amita. Total dedication of every part of his life at every level to the Eibush. Ubifrat b'shas krishma b'chesel, especially during Shema and the brachas of Shema. Kameshi is bar, like the Alter Rebbe will explain later. This is Perek Memtes in such a beautiful way. Who kasha yosem alibay. Yeah. So this, when a person will, he'll pay it. Yeah. I'm giving a shir now. So. No. Go. Okay. No problem. Okay. So who kasha yosem alibay. Masha'imir Akosov, the Pasuk says in Mishlei, Kamayim aponim leponim, Kein lev adam el adam. Yeah. So the thing is like this. Mishlei is a Musar Sefer. The Lashon in the Pasuk is lakachas. In other words, it's supposed to be messages of morality. Mm-hmm. So what's the message in this Pasuk? Pasuk says, I want you to know, Shlomo HaMelech is saying that water reflects a face. So now, another person, if you see that another person doesn't like you, so you should know that if you want to change the way he feels, if you do acts of love towards him, he's going to change. You have the power, it's up to you. It's in your power, actually, to change the way that person feels. Your love will be implanted into the other person, and he'll return it to you. So the message of Shlomo HaMelech is a message of instruction. Okay, that this is what you should do. This is how you should live your life. If somebody hates you, don't say, look, what could I do? I can't control his heart. And he treats me this way, I have to midah keneged midah, I have to treat him back. He's like, no, you should know that just like Hamayim upon him, there's a mechanism. Do loving acts to the other person. Those acts are going to go into the person's heart, and they're going to change the way he feels.
So you don't leave him any options?
No.
I don't mind him.
Right.
But you can see some Trump, whatever he's doing, some people has allergy.
Yeah.
They have terminal for this already. Medical condition.
Right, so some people say as a disclaimer, this only applies if there are no mental health issues. This is the message of Shlomo HaMelech. Look, the Alter Rebbe said in Perek Lamed Beis that even Brias Ba'alma, so tzorech l'moshchon bechevlei avoises avo, we have to draw them with ropes of love. So this is something that even for a baser element, so to speak, but that's not. So this is the meaning of the pasuk without Tanya. This is not what the Alter Rebbe is saying. The Alter Rebbe is saying pirush. Also, they also wrote into the Rebbe here in the Biurim on Tanya, in the lessons on Tanya. This from the Rebbe, all arichas, that when the Alter Rebbe says the word perush, it means interpretation, not literal. It's a different
level.
It's not the way it means straightforward. It's a pshat, and what he's saying is that what the Rebbe says, it's a little bit of a challenge to fit in what the Alter Rebbe is saying back into the pasuk.
It's not really explanation.
Right. So he says that the water that reflects the water is a teva. So here he says the leva adam ela adam. First of all, we're talking about leva adam ela adam to Hashem, and he says it's a teva. That's why it's called of ma'id, because it's a natural, it's a reaction. It's the bottom line is that it's a natural, it's a reaction. This is inborn in the nature of a person. He says, Perush kemei shekidmus v'tzuras haponim. She'adam mara b'mayim, when a person presents a tzura, right, a face to the water. So, Kain nira leisham b'mayim is a tzura atzma. The same if he's showing a happy face, a sad face, expressionless. That's what he sees in return. He says, Kocha mamish, leiv ha'adam anema, a person who's sincere. V'avosei li'ish achim, when he loves another person. Harei avazu me'ereres ava b'leiv chavere elov gamkein. This it draws out a reciprocal response. Liyes ayavim the monim zalazet, to be sincere, true friends, like we say in English. Bifrat kisheraya avas chavere elov, when he sees how his friend loves him. So really, even if it's only in your heart, right? Leiv ha'adam ba'avasi li'shachar, just the fact that in your heart you love another person, it will draw the other person to love you as long as it's sincere. And especially when he sees the actions, right? When he sees avas chavere elov, when he sees the way the person is treating him.
It's not clean water, this problem.
I'll just say, as a derech agav, I don't want to get too carried away, but we live very much in a culture where everything has to be for an exchange. All relationships, all this, I'm not excluding myself. True friendship, Hasidim would speak about how it was in Russia. Like the kind of closeness. Oh, did you have here? Sorry, the glass door. You need to lift it a drop. When you put, and then lift a drop. Oh, you got it.
Okay.
Thank you very much. So we don't experience so much.
But your childhood friends, even in America, is different because you don't have any. You was more altruistic, and whatever built up in the school, received it. So this last,
For a lifetime,
I'm
yeah.
sure you have friends.
You still doing the weather?
Yeah. So yes. So I would say that, in other words, one good friend too. Yeah. But it's interesting. Like we spend so much time together, and we're in touch once in a while now, but not that often. But I see that people who work on themselves in relationships in general, people who are they're examining in the ruchnius their motives, and I see like a unique, like I know a few people, and I feel a difference in the friendship to them than with other people.
Because you discussed his opposite person became more spiritual, and this guy, friends talk, let's talk like before. He said, no, I'm going to know. You talk about Saba Shpir.
Yeah. So it's a very interesting phenomenon.
He worked on himself, he became more hopeless of guys like I understand.
True, the Alter Rebbe is speaking about, right, what the Alter Rebbe is saying, that Oyavim Ne'amonim, the sincerity. It's not like we will say, I have an infatuation. You know, a person is fixated about somebody. No, this is it's truth. It's sincere. It's pure. Yeah, memvav. So this ava is me'eder, a response, believe chaverei elov. So let's see what the Alter Rebbe says. Vihine zehu teva hanohuk b'midas kol adam. This is an inborn nature, and it's b'midas kol adam with all people. So just a quick recap: Alter Rebbe set up a framework. He created a setting that he's going to present a love that's unique, that it applies equally to everyone. And it's extremely close. It doesn't require like deep meditation, just some thoughtfulness, maybe in our days we would call it. And this is based on the pasuk Hamayim Aponim Leponim Kein Leva Adam Ela Adam, that as water reflects a face, so too a heart to a heart. So what the Alter Rebbe is saying is, without going into the regular Taich and this, that when someone loves you and they behave towards you in a loving way and it's sincere, you naturally respond. It's a teva. You can't not respond. It's a built-in nature. And the Alter Rebbe says, "B'midas kol adam," with everyone equals, among peers. We're not talking about different levels of society. Naturally, people respond. Af im shnehem shavim b'mayla, even if they're both the same level of greatness. Halachas kama v'kama. Right, I'll just say, like in the world of sports, whenever someone from a different team supports someone who fell down or got hurt from the other team, right? So everyone responds in there's like a natural, warm feeling to that phenomenon, right? Oh, they're on different teams, so they're really enemies. They're combating against each other. They're competing against each other. And now it's like, at the end of the game, everyone. So there's something special about that, right? And that's a natural emotion. It doesn't require a hisbonenus. Everyone has a reaction to such a, Allah has kama v'kama. I don't know if you have a knockout, right? In a mixed martial arts, if there's a knockout and the guy harms the guy beyond. I don't know. And
that might be, I think it depends on the person.
Right, I'm saying in the event that the person shows that he cares for the other person, right away, everyone responds in a very naturally, because you're showing ava to another person.
But even the boxers, they do angry, became angry before game. Otherwise they can perform.
Yeah. Allah has kama v'kama, how much more so in Melech, a king, Godel, a great king, the Rav, I don't know, Rav,
Even great.
extra grande, right? Godel v'Rav. Yeah, his greatness expresses itself in many ways. Remember, we spoke about this once. Why is a teacher called a Rav? Because you have to have many ways to reach your students. One of the reasons. Right? So, a Melech Godel v'Rav. So, on one side, we have all these superior, all these incredible qualities. Mare ahavasei, if he shows his love, and it's ahavasei hagdoilo, and it's atzuma, leish hedyet, to an ordinary person. Now, not only an ordinary person, v'nivza, a lowly person, and then ushfal anoshim, a person that's a depraved, below society, Somebody, a bum. Umenovel hamotel ba'ashpa. Someone who's filthy, laying in trash. The king goes down to see him. Im kol sarav yachtov. So there's a discussion here about what do the ministers contribute? Right? In other words, we're talking about the king's love. So one is that the ministers, they give grandeur to the king.
Oh, yeah,
Say,
that's what I was thinking, yeah.
right? But there's also an idea that to the king, you're so important that all these people are not doing their work now. Everyone came, right? It's like you have a meeting, and you're like, this guy gets paid $500 an hour. This guy gets paid, right? What are we doing? We're all sitting, this meeting must be so important. It's costing us $10,000 a minute that we're sitting here around the table, right? So the king, kol sarav, everybody, we closed all the offices. The king loves you so much that did you ever have that feeling sitting in a room? Did you ever?
Wasted money.
Yeah, did you ever feel it?
I never thought of
No? So
When Alter Rebbe went himself to make soup and keep also, it was...
right. But I've been at that, been at a table, and I wasn't the only person who had that feeling.
I think it was a waste of money.
I'm not talking about, in other words, thinking about, imagine how important this must be.
that all these people are.
That all these people, right, that's worth, every minute, it's a fortune. We're meeting with a federation head or with some guy, but I hope his donation covers at least the lunch.
Yeah, right.
So here the king, im kol sarav yachtov, the king lifts him up, stand up tall. Umerime me'ashpasa, he lifts him up from the garbage. Umachnise leichale, he brings him into the palace. Heichal HaMelech. And cheder lifnim cheder, right, into the inner chambers, into the spaces that mokim she'ein kol eved v'sar nichnas l'sham. In other words, he shows him such favor that he doesn't limit where he takes him. And there, he spends individual quality time with this person, beyichud v'kirov amiti, true closeness. And then even more, v'chibuk v'nishuk, he hugs and kisses the person. V'yizdapkus rucha berucha. Right? He shows him how the love is so pnimiistic. B'chol leiv v'nefesh. So halachas kama v'kama, how much more so, of course, shetis'erer memela ha'ava kfula u'mchupeles b'leiv ha'hedit l'shval ha'noshim hazeh, that this hedyot, this lowly person, will completely be overwhelmed by this ava, el nefesh ha'melech, b'iskashrus ha'nefesh mamish, to become really dedicated, committed to the king. Milei v'nefesh, me'umka deliba la'enkates, with incredible depth. And I'm sorry I politicize, we're talking about Tanya, so I'm sorry that I bring in politics. But people talk about President Trump, about the personal peace. That maybe a family member was sick and he called them to say how they're doing. And then lahavdil, we don't have to bring examples from the Goyish world. I'm just saying that, look, it's possible even, but we have so many stories of the Rebbe. A famous Izzy Rosenfeld told a story that his wife went to have a baby, and it was taking a long time, and they sent a message, I think it was Shabbos. And then she had the baby, and he was walking back from Methodist, and he met the Rebbe on Eastern Parkway. And he didn't say anything. And the Rebbe asked him, right? So the Rebbe says, I'm thinking the whole time, right? In other words, I'm here worried. Where the example I said Shabbos and Shul, that the Rebbe met a son of a great Mekubal from Eretz Yisrael who was here in New York, and the Rebbe said, I ask you, please Every single day, tell me how your father's doing. Let me know, call me. And what do I have to do? And there were people that Rebbe, had maskiras check in with them every single day. Every single day. The other story that I mentioned about in Tafshin Yud, when the Rebbe sent a bacher to whisper the Frierdiker Rebbe's name in the ear of a child that was sick. He lost consciousness. Va'afim libay kaleva even, a person with a stone heart. Hames yimis would melt. V'hayelamayim. V'tishtapech nafshe kamayim bekleis hanefesh mamish. He'll go out like in this complete outpouring of love v'avas hamelech to the king. So this amazing, amazing marshal, a full Amud of Tanya, that the Alter Rebbe presents the marshal in such a descriptive way. It says, "V'hine kechol advarim ha'ile." Yeah. Kechol advarim ha'ile, kechol achizoyin hazeh. Like this whole vision, all these details, and the Godel Yeser Ma'id. In other words, the contrast of the Melech Godel Rav on one side, and on the other side is a person lowly, dirty, in the garbage. The Godel Yeser Ma'id Bekifle Kiflayim, doubly greater, le'enketz, and then it's enketz. It's not double, it's enketz. Asalonu Elekenu. Hashem did for us. The Melech Godel is the Melech Godel Varav is obvious. The Eibishter is Blikvul. Iu Mamala Kalamin, V'Seviv Kalamin. V'Neida Mezeir HaKadosh V'Arizal, Ribui HaEcholes V'Olam is Adem Mispar, the endless worlds, V'Bachol Olam V'Heichol, Ribui Revavis Malachim Lenketz V'Tachlis, endless Malachim. Okmei Shekosu, the Gemara says, Ksiv, Hayesh Mispar Ligduda. Is there a number to his troops? Then there's another pasuk, Elef Alofin Yishamshune. So there is a number. V'ribui revavan kadmoihi are before him. Mishani, the Gemara answers, Elef Alofin v'chulu mispar gedudechad. That's the number of a battalion. Avaligduda of ein mispar, but there's no end to the troops. V'kulam kamei kala mamish chashiva. By the Eibishter, as awesome, as amazing as all these creations are, they're all like naught. Ubeteilim b'mitzias mamish. Kibitl dibur echad mamish legabe mahus hanefesh hamedaberes ve'atzmusa. Like the essence of the nefesh. Ba'oid shahoya dibura adayim b'machshavta oiberotzu v'chemnes halev. Kenal ba'arichos, like the Alter Rebbe explained in Perek Chaf and Chaf Aleph. They're non-existent, practically. The Kulam, all these angels and worlds and powers, Shoyalim, they all ask, where's the Eibishter's glory? And they respond, you want to know where Hashem is? Hashem is on earth. Hem Yisrael Ameh. The Yidden, that's the ones. That's where he is. So, there's two parts, and Alter Rebbe is going to also speak about this in the Nimshul. There's the love, and then there's what Hashem pushed aside. We also, there's what we want, and then there are the things that we have to push aside that they shouldn't get in the way. Right? The Taivas Elam Hazeh. So the Alter Rebbe is going to have the same exact lashon for us. Hiniach. We have to be meniach also. Ki hiniach HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Hashem set aside the upper worlds and the lower worlds. He didn't choose, that's not chosen. Ki'im bi Yisrael Ameh. There's it's a nice thing to learn. There's a very interesting hadron of the Rebbe, where the Rebbe speaks about Bovel, that it's like the Kedusha of Eretz Yisrael. Hashem chose Eretz Yisrael, and then he chose Bavel. So Bavel became holy. What does it mean when Hashem chooses a place? How it impacts, that there's a Kedusha. Akoponim. So Hashem was Beicher, he's Bachar B'Yisrael.
But it's temporary as long as Eden was there. Well, even Har Sinai is not holy.
No, but in the Gemara, it's only when Mashiach comes. Yeah. One of the Hadronim, it's yeah. There's a lot to learn, yeah. All these things, that he didn't choose any of those things. In other words, what does it mean? Hashem chose it. And then, right? Hashem took us out, and every person can think about it in our own lives. What we, Baruch Hashem, we're involved in Jewish things, in mitzvahs, in Torah, and all these good things. And what would be the alternative if we weren't? In what would we be invested? Even like this, it's a shaila. The Eibishter, we always have the chance to elevate ourselves, to leave Mitzrayim, l'chol yom v'yom. One of the reasons, one of the explanations of why it says beficha first, beficha, is that for a Beinani, our initiation, our beginning is learning Torah. Beficha, then it could be ubelvavcha. For tzaddikim, like you were saying before, libam b'shusam, they could start with machshava, but a Beinani has to start with beficha. So we start and we elevate ourselves. It's the place of shmutz. Hashem himself, I went down to rescue the nation. And the Eibishter brought us up to bring us close to him. In other words, not to free us from bondage. To free us from bondage, very nice. Okay, we're not slaves anymore. We were emancipated. We're in America. There's no slavery anymore. Very nice. No. To become truly connected. You have a b'chinas neshiki. Yeah, in the story with the Shach, with the Sifsei Kohen, right? So his daughter was taken captive.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Right? So then later, the Jewish community ransomed her, and the head of the community married her. Right? And then later, her father came and gave a drasha, and she recognized the Indian. From when she was 5 years old. She recognized the topic. And then she discovered, and so she rediscovered her father. And then he stopped wandering, he stayed there. Yeah, crazy, unbelievable story, right? So, in other words, yeah, they rescued her. And then she married the Reish HaKol. It's not, they didn't just, right? How appreciative, how grateful did she feel after being in such a place? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He knows who was his daughter? Rosh Kigil knows this was daughter of
No, she didn't know.
She did not know.
She didn't know who her father was. When he came, they made a big tumult. The Sifsei Kohen is coming. Mm-hmm. And she went to hear the drasha. She went and she saw him. She didn't recognize him. Yeah.
And he didn't recognize her?
I don't know if he saw her.
Yeah, right.
So the Kedei Lekar.
She recognized what he was saying.
Right.
That's fascinating.
Yeah. Kedei Lekarva Melov Bekiruv V'yichud Amiti. Yeah, to be close to the Eibishter in a true closeness. V'yiskashrus hanefesh mamish, v'b'chinas neshikin, pele ledaber dvar Hashem zu halacha, v'yizdabkus rucha berucha, hi asagas hateira, right? So Izdavkus Rucha Berucha, that our spirits are pnimius, in our minds, we're thinking words of Torah. Asagas HaTorah, v'yedias, and that we have the knowledge, we know Ritzoyne v'chachmasai. The Kula Chad Mamish, and that's one Mamish with the Eibishter. So that's the Torah part. V'gam b'bchinas chibuk, also the fulfillment of mitzvahs, who kiyum ha-mitzvahs maisias beramach evorim. Yeah, we fulfill the mitzvahs with our bodies. The ramach pekudin hein ramach evorim the Malka canal. So every mitzvah is a limb of the Eibishter. So by doing mitzvahs, we're embracing, we're one with Hashem. B'derech klal, in a general way, nechlokin l'sholish bechinas. There's three kavin, yamin, just like in the body. There's yamin, usmail v'emtza, chesed, din, rachmin, which are trein, droyin, v'gufa, the two arms and the body. And the mitzvahs are, I mentioned many times that there's a sefer ha-mitzvahs called Sefer Charedim. He presents the mitzvahs in the body. He breaks down the mitzvahs based on the human body. Anyway, let's be mafsig here. And the mitzvah Shem, the next we'll finish the... Okay? Because we're not going to finish the whole parak today anyway. And okay, everyone should feel good. I'm sorry there's no refreshments.